Yo, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here from Pickdawgz.com, continuing to cook up this NBA action, man. Y'all know what we do on the jam session. We cook up every single game, every single day. We got group play today, man, for the in-season tournament. I'm interested to see what this looks like. It's new for me, same way as it's new for you. It's new for the players, new for the coaches. Something entirely new here in the NBA. We have to see if it changes anything, if teams are playing harder, if the level of competition is raised, if the rotations get shorter, if teams are really going balls to the wall trying to win this thing. It's a lot of new information. We're just going to have to see how it plays out. These games are going to be played every Friday, and this is the first chance we're getting to look at it. So I did cook up every single game as always. Smash that like button for your guy if you appreciate the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're rocking with me, rock with me. Of course, I got plays over at Pickdawgz Premium, and I'm going to be active on Twitter all day, so you guys can follow me there. I'm going to be honest, it hasn't been the best week for me in the NBA. It just hasn't. I've been on the wrong side of a lot of second half comebacks this week. It's really been annoying. I'm going to try my best to overcome that, though. We're heading into a money-making weekend, and I'm ready to smash it per usual, man. So let's try to do just that. I promise you guys I'm putting the work in today. Well, I already put it in. I already cooked up every last game. I'm finna cook them up right here for you guys, right here, right now. Let's make some money tonight. Without further ado, let's hop right into tonight's NBA action. All right, first game up, man. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers out on the road facing the Indiana Pacers. Pacers home dogs getting 3.5 at the crib in this one. First game of the in-season tournament group play. I'm interested to see if teams go even harder or if it's just another day. I'm interested to see. This is a new thing for all of us, so we're all going to see this in real time. Here's my thought process on the game. We've already seen these two teams play once this season. The Pacers went into Cleveland and roughed them up, man. 125-113. I think that's how this game is going to go again today if Tyrese Halliburton plays. Halliburton has missed a couple games in a row. He did not play in that last game against Boston, and they got took behind the woodshed, 155-104. They lost to Chicago the game before that, 112-105. If you've watched the gym session for any duration of time, then you know that I say this about Halliburton. The Pacers are more so than any other team in the NBA one-player centric, and it's crazy that it's Tyrese Halliburton. But when he's in, this Pacers team can run and gun with anybody in the league. When he's out, they're arguably one of the worst teams in the NBA. It is crazy how night and day the Pacers are without Tyrese Halliburton. He is the transmission, the motor, the windshield wipers, the battery, the steering wheel. He is the team for the Indiana Pacers. He sets things up. He gets the ball where he needs to be. He scores the bucket. One of the guys that has the most assists in the NBA. Halliburton is the entire offense for the Pacers. So if he's in, we're on the Pacers. If he's out, we're going to leave the game alone completely. We're not laying points with the Cleveland Cavaliers out on the road. The Cavs are one of the worst ATS teams already this season. I have not liked what I've seen from them really in any of their games. 3 straight home games they lost: Oklahoma City, Indiana, New York. They have won both their road games, 1-point win over Brooklyn and a 6-point win over New York, but I'm not laying points with them on the road. Halliburton, I need you to play. If Halliburton plays, we're on the Pacers. If he doesn't play, we're leaving the game alone entirely. Next game up, man, we got the New York Knicks out on the road facing the Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks laying 5.5 at the crib. Milwaukee has not been a cover team thus far this season. They're 1-3 against the number. I do think that they're head and shoulders better than the Knicks. I got Milwaukee as the number 2 team currently in the Eastern Conference. But as I told you guys at the beginning of the season, they weren't just going to hit the ground running and be one of the best teams in the league. It's going to take a growing period for them to figure out who they're going to be moving forward. Drew Holiday solved a ton of problems for them defensively in years past, and he's no longer there. And we see that with the scores the Bucks have been putting out recently. The Bucks are one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA right now today. And I don't want to lay points with teams that can't play defense. I lean to the direction of Milwaukee, but I'm not laying the points with them because their defense has not shown up thus far this season. What I will do in this game is take an over. I think Milwaukee's defense continues to be suspect. I think the Knicks come in here, play the Milwaukee Bucks really hard in this group play game, And I think we just get points, 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 points. I think they're going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I know the Knicks games haven't been all that high scoring, but I think this one will be. They had a high scoring game with Atlanta, 126-120. I'm thinking this one is going to be more along those lines. The Knicks were out on the road in that game. They're out on the road here. Milwaukee, 130-111 against Toronto, 122-114 against Miami, 127-110 against Atlanta, 118-117 against Philly. Their defense sucks. They have two of the best offensive players in the league, Giannis and Logo Lillard. I think they both get theirs tonight. I think their defense continues to lack. I think the Knicks will be able to put up some points as well. Over 226.5 for me. New York Knicks, Milwaukee Bucks. Next game up, man, we got the Washington Wizards out on the road facing the Miami Heat. Heat at the crib, laying 9.5 here in this one. Short, sweet, simple. You guys know I'm taking the Wizards plus the points here in this one. Here's why. The Miami Heat last season were garbage, terrible. One of the worst. No, they were the worst home ATS team for most of the season last year. This team just does not cover spreads, and you know that. The Miami Heat last season were 21-30-2 against the spread at home, and it was worse than that during the regular season. I just can't separate postseason and regular season with the numbers I have right here in front of me. And we know they went on a historic postseason run last year. I'm trying to tell you how bad the Miami Heat were laying points at the crib last season. They were as bad as it gets, and I'm damn sure not laying double digits with the Miami Heat at home. What have we seen from them already this season? They're 1-4 and 1-4 against the number. Their only win came at home against the Pistons in a game where they won by a single point, 103-102, and damn near lost that game. The Pistons had a good look at the buzzer, just missed. Since then, they've lost 4 straight. Boston beat them up, 119-111. The Minnesota Timberwolves took them behind the woodshed, 106-90. Milwaukee, a team that has been struggling in their own right, beat up on them 122-114, and then they just lost their last home game, 109-105 to Brooklyn. And now they want me to lay 10 points? No, sir. I will not do it. I'm taking the Wizards plus the points here in this one. The thing about the Wizards is betting the Wizards is not fun. Sitting there watching Kuzma and Jordan Poole be the most hilarious duo in the history of NBA is a scary place to be. The Heat are head and shoulders better than the Washington Wizards. We're more so banking on the Miami Heat continuing to do what they do, going through the motions in these games. The Heat are the better team, but if the Wizards' shots are falling, Kuzma Poole, they should be able to keep this game really competitive and have a shot to win it outright. The problem is this is the same guys that be throwing alley-oops off the glass down 25. That's the Washington Wizards. So you gotta kind of be weary, but this is more so a system play than a play on the Wizards. It's a play against the Miami Heat is what this is. It's a play against the Heat, not necessarily a play on the Wizards. It's a system play. We love fading the Miami Heat at the crib, and they're laying double digits. We have to be on the Wizards. Come on, Wizards. Come out here hooping tonight. I'm taking Washington plus the points. Here it is. Next game up, man, we got the Brooklyn Nets out on the road facing your Chicago Bulls. Bulls laying 3.5 at the crib here in this one. I'm taking the Nets. Based on the pure eye test, man, the Nets are playing the better basketball, and they've yet to not cover a point spread. The Chicago Bulls, I've watched a lot of their games. They played 5. I've probably watched 4. And every game I sit there and say the Bulls are terrible. Like, I think this team is heading for a blow-up sooner rather than later. And it's only a matter of time. We've seen them at home twice this year, the Chicago Bulls. The first one was their home opener, first game of the year, and they got took behind the shed by the Thunder Buddies. They lost by 20, 124-104. The second game, they played the Toronto Raptors. They did win it, 104-103, but that was as fraudulent as a win as they come. They got lucky. The Raptors got in severe foul trouble late in that game, and the Bulls still did everything they could to try to hand that game to Toronto. They got lucky in the end, did win it. Since then, man, they got took behind the shed by the Pistons. Dallas beat them up. They did beat the Pacers out on the road. I guess a solid win, but I'm not laying points with Chicago here in this one. I'm just not doing it. Again, I think the Nets are arguably playing the better basketball. They just went out on the road and beat Miami straight up, took care of business against Charlotte. You know, they've yet to not cover a spread. They're 4-0 ATS. I think they go 5-0 ATS. I think, in all honesty, they win this game straight up. I'm not high on Chicago. I think they're heading towards a blow up. Zach LaVine made me mad this week. He said the Bulls have 3 All-Stars. And technically they do, but no, they don't. They have 1. LaVine has never done nothing in his career. Just because you put up good numbers on bad teams and you make the All-Star game, in my opinion, doesn't make you an All-Star. And that's the same thing for Vooch. Just because you're putting up good numbers on a bad Magic team and they vote you into the All-Star game doesn't necessarily mean you're an All-Star. The only player on this team that has done something meaningful is DeMar DeRozan. And I don't think he can do enough to carry this team. We have a good enough database saying that he can't. I think the Bulls are heading for a blow-up sooner rather than later. I would not lay points with them at home here in this one, a place they haven't even really hooped that well to begin the season. I'm taking the Nets. I think they're playing the better basketball. I think they're arguably just the better team right now today. I would take them money line, or I would just grab the points in my back pocket. Next game up, man, we got the Golden State Warriors out on the road facing one of our favorite money-making teams, man, the Oklahoma City Thunder Buddies. Thunder Buddies, man, getting 5.5 at the crib here in this one. The problem with the Thunder Buddies is their top 10 player in the NBA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, will not play. And I can't back the Thunder without Shai, man. I love the Thunder. You know, I really do. I feel like I led the charge on this Thunder Buddies for life thing that we have going on with the Thunder Buddies. But no Shai, no Thunder for me tonight. I'm taking the Warriors. I'm laying the 5.5. And here's the thing. The Warriors, I can't figure them out. Last season, money at home. Money. I'm talking about as good as money got. You could bank on the Golden State Warriors covering at home last year. They were the best home ATS team in the league. And you could bank on fading them boys out on the road last year as they were the worst road ATS team in the league. It was crazy how night and day they were, but they were absolute money at home. Their shots were just seemed to fall like they would nowhere else. And then on the road, they couldn't buy a bucket. This year, it's flipped. The Warriors, they're 3-0 ATS out on the road and 0-2 ATS at home. What the hell? I know, it's crazy. It's crazy, but they've also won 4 straight. Smacked up on the Sacramento Kings out on the road, 122-114. Smacked up on the Rockets out on the road, 106-95. Took the Pelicans behind the woodshed, 130-102. And then barely beat up on Sacramento, 102-101, Clay game winner last game. The Thunder Buddies, man, they've been the Thunder Buddies already this year. Smacked up on Chicago on the road to begin the year, beat up on Cleveland, came home and got took behind the shed by Denver, 128-95, and then lost their last home game to the New Orleans Pelicans, 110-106. I think this one can get ugly like that Nuggets game got ugly. The Warriors' shots are falling right now on the road. For some odd reason, they're playing their best basketball out on the road. I think they beat up on the Thunder Buddies here in this one. I'm taking the Warriors, laying the 5.5. Next game up, man, we got the toughest game on the board, in my opinion, man. We got my favorite team, the Dallas Mavericks, out on the road facing the Denver Chicken Nuggets. The Nuggets, man, what do I always say about this team? What do? When they're at home, they go stupid, dummy, crazy. The Nuggets always ball out at the crib, man. Last season, for most of the season, they were the best home ATS team in the league. The reason they didn't finish there was because they had such a gap for the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed last year in the West. There was no reason for them to go out there and go balls to the wall every game down the stretch. So they kind of took their foot off the gas later on in the season. But at the beginning of the season, forget about it. The Nuggets go stupid, dummy, crazy at the crib. The problem and what makes this game so tough is the Mavs are hooping right now. Last season, we wouldn't even have thought twice. We would have took the Nuggets here and we would have been on to the next game. The Mavs were the absolute worst cover team in the NBA last year. You lost more money betting the Mavs than any other team in the NBA last year. The thing is they're not that same team from last year. They're much better. I love the addition of Lively. I love the addition of Grant Williams. These are pieces that have changed this Mavs team, and you have seen that early in the 4 games they have played. They've one of 2 teams that have yet to lose a game. They're 3-1 against the number, and that team from last season seems like a distant memory. Based off what I've seen this season alone, I'm talking about only this season, the play for me is the Dallas Mavericks, and I'm not going to overcomplicate this one. They've yet to lose a game. Luka Doncic is playing at an MVP level. My two best players in the NBA are Jokic and Luka. That's how I see it. And they going head-to-head tonight. I think Luka continues to put on a show. If you haven't been watching Mavs basketball, I understand why you would want to fade them here. But if you've been watching, then you know the Mavs are far and away from that team they were last year, and they're playing really great basketball right now. They're even playing defense late in games, something that they did not do last season. I think they do enough to keep this one within the number. I would not be surprised if they won it outright. This is the Nuggets, man. They do go stupid, dummy, crazy at the crib. But based off what I've seen thus far this year, I got to grab the points with the Mavs on the road. Here it is. In our last and final matchup of the night, man, we got the Memphis Grizzlies out on the road facing the Portland Trail Blazers. Portland home dogs getting 3.5 here in this one. Tough game, man. I do think Portland is currently the worst team in the NBA. The thing with that being said, though, is they got 2 wins and Memphis is winless. And I'm not laying points with Memphis on the road, man. I'm just not doing it. So, in a lean, I'm going to take the Blazers plus the 3.5 here. Here's why, bro. The Memphis Grizzlies were terrible last year on the road. Terrible. And they've been terrible to begin this year, straight up. On the road last season, the Memphis Grizzlies were 14-29-1 against the number. They only covered in 32.6% of their games. And they're vastly worse this season than they were last year. They've yet to win a game, and I'm damn sure not laying points with them. I'm just not doing it. Do I see an avenue where they do get their first win of the season? Yes, I think the Portland Trail Blazers are the worst team in the NBA. But Portland is actually playing some decent basketball right now. We saw them really play good basketball in their last one in the second half. Burnt me because I had the Pistons, but hey, they did hoop in that game, and I'm getting over a bucket with them at the crib, and they're playing the better basketball against a team that is terrible against the spread out on the road. I got to grab the points with Portland in this one. I would not be surprised at all if Memphis finally got their first win of the season. But even if they do, I think they win by 2 points here in this game. That's how I see it. Missing Ja Morant for the Grizzlies is huge and monumental. A lot of people thought that they would just be able to pick up the pieces and survive until he gets back. That's not the case. Missing a top 5 guard in the NBA is something not easily replaceable. And he's their whole culture. He is Memphis. Without him, they're just not the same. And I think they're going to continue to struggle without him. I'm not laying points with Memphis here in this one. It's a team that is yet to win a game, and they were terrible last year out on the road against the spread. Only covered in 32% of their games. I got to grab the points in this one with the Portland Trail Blazers to finish our night. And that's going to conclude this episode of my NBA Jam session. As always, I appreciate every last one of you guys watching this video. Smash that like button for your guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you rocking with me, rock with me. I got premium plays over at the site, and I'm active on Twitter all day. There's a link for both in the description, man. First day of the in-season tournament group play. I'm interested to see what it looks like. I'm sure you guys are as well. I'll be right here watching all the games as soon as I get back from this Rangers parade today. So can't wait for that, man. I cooked up every single game. Hopefully we make some money tonight. Get back on track. Been a rough couple days. It's been your guy, Jay Briggs. I'll see y'all later on tonight. Let's make some money tonight. I'm out of here. Peace.